How are you?
So, hey, Kat. Hi. You got your YouTube.
Yeah.
Where's the choir's not singing, just us.
Yeah. You can sit back here with us if you want to.
I'm looking for Eddie. I saw Eddie earlier, but. What? Uh-oh. Don't listen to him. I mean, anybody that wears a hat like that, you believe it? What happened to your arm? Is it contagious?
Somebody else had noticed the droopy flowers.
I saw
Matthew?
no. I like Wimberley with some flowers.
Oh, yeah. Actually kind of worked out because the flowers up here now match the flowers on the...
Yeah, I know that was
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Maddie Kolpa, and I'm a member of the board here at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. On behalf of the board and the program council, it is my honor to welcome you here this morning. As we enter this space today, know that you are surrounded by the love of this community where all are welcome. Whoever you are, wherever you are from, and wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time here, or your 101st time, if you are here in the building or watching online, you are welcome here. If we can find the camera with the red dot, give a quick wave to everyone that's watching us from elsewhere today. If you would like more information on our church, please fill out the visitor card in the pocket in front of you, or visit our website, tvuuc.org, and select Stay in Touch. If you are interested in religious exploration classes for your children or adult RE for yourself here at TVUUC, please visit the RE hallway after the service, through the double doors past the kitchen, to speak to an RE leader. You can also find more information on our website or at the RE welcome table in the gallery. If you need any accessibility aids during the service, such as a large print hymnal, hearing device, or noise-canceling headphones, those can be found on a cart near the welcome table in the lobby. Our ushers will be glad to show you the way or collect one for you if needed. Our ushers are also able to provide guidance around the building if you are a newer visitor or need help locating the restrooms, exits, or any other areas of our building. If you are visiting us with small children, we invite you to sit up front where it is easier for your little ones to see what is going on. Please don't feel that you must keep them still. All are welcome here, and we understand that silence is never completely silent. You should also feel free to change seats at any time during the service if you need to move closer or even just stretch your legs. If you or your children need to step out of the sanctuary for a moment, the E.E. Cummings room is a glass-enclosed room at the back of the sanctuary where you can still see and hear the service. We have a few announcements this morning. We invite you to join us after the service in the fellowship hall for our first Sunday lunch, hosted by the worship committee. We are also collecting school supplies for Lonsdale Elementary and TVUUC youth. Your donations help support children and youth in our community and are greatly appreciated. If you need extra time to go through the food line, you are invited to head out of the sanctuary before the final hymn. And if you need a quieter space to eat, you can sit in the Lizzie Crozier French room instead of the fellowship hall. We'd also like to extend a thank you to all who were able to donate or volunteer with Family Promise this week. Your generosity and presence made a meaningful difference. We look forward to welcoming families back into this space in September as we continue this important partnership. Please join us on August 9th for a multi-congregational picnic at the Cove in Concord Park. We'll enjoy an afternoon of fun, food, and fellowship with friends from neighboring congregations as we celebrate community, connection, and the joy of being together. And also be sure to watch for some fresh changes on our hallway announcement boards and screen. We invite you to pause and check out the new program council boards and other updates. And today we also have a starting point section, which is starting point session, which is an introduction to the Unitarian Universalist journey. This session is not only for those interested in membership, but also for established members. It offers newcomers and old-timers an opportunity to explore ways in which Unitarian Universalism can make a difference in our lives. Not only will it help you decide if UUism is right for you, but it's also an opportunity to reflect on your beliefs and values. This will be facilitated by our prospective new member and outreach coordinator, Mark Mahundro, and the next session is today after the service from 1 to 3 p.m. in room C. For more information on these announcements and more, please refer to the newsletter, calendar, and other forms of communication from TVUUC. Today, our generosity offering supports TVUUC's operating budget, ensuring we have the resources to live our values, nurture our community, and carry forward our mission throughout the year. Ways to give are listed in the order of service, including a QR code that will take you directly to the giving page. If you are watching online, you can click the blue Give button on your screen. And after the service, please join us for food and conversation in the fellowship hall. If you are visiting, would like a tour of the building, or have questions about our church, you can look for me in the lobby, and I'll be glad to chat and show you around. If you have questions about the path to membership, I'll be happy to introduce you to our prospective member coordinator, Mark Mahundro. And now, if you have not already done so, please silence any electronic devices as we enter worship together.
Beautiful is the sea.
Beautiful is the air, more beautiful is the sea.
Most beautiful of all, most beautiful of all, are smiling faces.
Most beautiful of all, most beautiful of all, are smiling faces.
Solid is the table, more solid is the mountain.
Solid is the table, more solid is the mountain.
Most solid of all, most solid of all, is human faith.
Most solid of all, most solid of all, is human faith.
Desolate is the desert and the distant heavens.
Desolate is the desert and the distant heavens.
Most desolate of all, most desolate of all, is without love.
Most desolate of all, most desolate of all, is living without love.
Powerful is the weapon, but more powerful is the law.
Powerful is the weapon, most powerful is the law.
Most powerful of all, most powerful of all, is the truthful word.
Most powerful of all, most
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Brown. I am serving as worship associate this morning. Our opening words is unison reading 580 in the back of the gray hymnal, the task of the religious community. So we'll read this together, and let's begin. The central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the end which assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens, and our strength is renewed. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. You all sound so good. My name is David Massey. I'm a member of the spiritual care team here at TVUUC. With your very necessary involvement and support, we help meet the caring needs of the congregation. Among other things, we answer the pastoral care line during the day and early evening, 7 days a week, and respond to text and voice messages as soon as possible. That number, along with the other services we provide, are on the back page of your order of service and in the weekly newsletter. Today, please take time after the service to stop by the caring table in the lobby, where you can sign cards that will be sent to those in need of our good wishes. Doris Gove and Marcia Usselton are volunteering at that table this morning. This is the time in our congregation when we give voice to joys and concerns. Lois Loy, beloved wife of our beloved Tom Ennis, passed away peacefully at home last week at the age of 91. Although she had not been active at TVUC for many years, she will be remembered for her caring heart, gentle spirit, and the unwavering love she shared with those around her. Lois built her life centered on those she loved and especially cherished her family. She will be deeply missed, and her memory will remain a treasured part of the lives she touched. In accordance with Lois's wishes, the family will hold a private service of remembrance. Last week, we shared that our new choir friend, Aaron Cox, had learned that his transplanted kidney was showing some minor signs of rejection. After over a week of treatments at Vanderbilt, he feels that those treatments went well, and he is now back home with Amanda and Silas. The family is deeply grateful for the meals and gift cards shared on Meal Train. He especially wants us to know that, quote, "It's truly been a blessing being a part of TVUC." We send good wishes to Kate Benson in Maine following her shoulder surgery on July 30. And Crystal Bradshaw is relieved that her 14-year-old niece Avery is doing well after her heart ablation procedure. As Maddie said, today marks the end of another week of this church's participation in Family Promise, an interfaith ministry which provides shelter to families who have no other place to lay their heads at night. 4 times each year, for 1 week each time, TVUC is able to provide that shelter because of volunteers who set up cots in the RE wing, welcome our guests, prepare dinner and breakfast, and stay overnight. We are grateful to those volunteers and especially to the coordinators, Robert and Debbie Hyde. Election Day is coming up this Thursday, August 6th. This is a multi-level election with primary races for state and federal office and general election for Knox County. We find joy in the fact that our own Cadence Collins stepped outside her comfort zone, answered the call to run for the Knox County School Board in the district encompassing Carnes and Hardin Valley. She is on the ballot on Thursday. Thank you, Cadence, for making this effort to serve our public schools. For over 40 years, and here is another ministry that has both a concern and a joy. For over 40 years, TVUC has been one of several congregations involved in the FISH program, which provides essential foods to those in need. Each participating congregation takes 1 day each month to receive and respond to requests for help. Over the decades, just from TVUC, we have delivered food to thousands of families throughout Knoxville and Knox County. In doing so, we witness the grace and courage of people on the margins. It is a humbling and eye-opening experience. But now the future of that ministry is at risk. For obvious reasons, the volunteers who deliver groceries are usually retired. Retirees can afford to take 2 to 4 daytime hours once a month to do this. But in recent months, our ranks have thinned, primarily for the reason that 75 and 80-year-old bones, muscles, and ligaments are begging for mercy. so we need more helping hands if we're going to maintain this long-standing ministry. We need younger people to replace some of us old-timers. So if you're hale and hearty, if you have some free time on the third Wednesday of the month, and if you're a youngster, say under 70, please contact Claire Meggs or me. We will fill you in on the details, and then you can decide if that service is right for you. Finally, this morning, we are grateful for the musicians in our midst, filling in for David Asbury, who is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the annual conference of UU Music Ministers. We look forward to the ideas and energy he always brings home from that gathering. So for all of these joys and concerns, as well as those held in privacy or that are unknown to us, please join us together in singing Sending You Light. The words are printed in your order of service.
We are sending you light to heal you, to hold you. We are sending you light to hold you in love. We are sending you light to heal you, to hold you. We are sending you light to hold you in love.
This reading is Letters from an American by Heather Cox Richardson, published July 3rd, 2026. On July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, declaring, quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness," end quote. For all the fact that the congressmen got around the sticky little problem of Black and Indigenous enslavement by defining quote-unquote men as quote-unquote white men, and for all that it never crossed their minds that women might also have rights. The Declaration of Independence was an astonishingly radical document in a world that had been dominated by a small class of rich men for so long that most people simply accepted that they should be forever tied to their status at birth. A group of upstart legislators on the edges of a continent declared that no man was born better than any other. America was founded on the radical idea that all men are created equal. What the founders declared self-evident was not so clear 87 years later, when Southern white men went to war to reshape America into a nation in which African Americans, Indigenous Americans, Chinese, Mexicans, and Irish were locked into a lower status than white Americans. In that era, equality had become a quote-unquote proposition rather than quote-unquote self-evident. Quote, 77 years ago, end quote, Abraham Lincoln reminded Americans, quote, "Our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal," end quote. In 1863, Lincoln explained the Civil War was, quote, "testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, could long endure," end quote. It did, of course. The Confederate rebellion failed, the United States endured, and Americans began to expand the idea that all men are created equal to include black men, men of color, and eventually women. But just as in the 1850s, we are now once again facing a rebellion against our founding principle, as a few people seek to reshape America into a nation in which certain people are better than others. The men who endorsed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, pledged their, quote, lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor, end quote, to defend the idea of human equality. Ever since then, Americans have sacrificed their own fortunes, honor, and even their lives for that principle. Lincoln reminded Civil War Americans of those sacrifices when he urged the people of his era to, quote, take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth, end quote. Words to live by in 2026.
And now, turn to hymn 159 in the Gray Hymnal. This is my song.
Stand up.
This is my song, of all the nations, the song of peace for lands afar and wide. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as to mine eyes mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams of clover leaf and pine. What other lands and sunlight dew and clover and stars are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all nations, the song of peace over and
Let us join in a time of meditation, reflection, prayer, using spoken word and shared silence. May we be strong advocates for peace and committed embodiments of human caring. May we be strong advocates of justice and committed embodiments of concern for others. May we think, remember, imagine a world in which justice prevails, peace spreads, people care, and institutions support and do not oppress. There is a better world waiting to be born. May we be its midwives. Amen.
It isn't nice to block the doorway. It isn't nice to go to jail. There are nicer ways to do it, but the nice ways always fail. It isn't nice, it isn't nice. You told us once, you told us twice, but if that's freedom's price, we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind. No, no, no. It isn't nice to block the doorway, or to sleep in on the floor, or to shout our cry of freedom in the hotel or the store. It isn't nice, it isn't nice. You told us once, you told us twice, but if that's freedom's price, we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind. No, no, no. Now we tried negotiation and the token picket line. Mr. Charlie didn't see us, and he might as well be blind. When you deal with men of ice, you can't deal with ways so nice. If that's freedom's price, we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind. No, no, no. They murdered boys in Mississippi. They shot Medgar in the back. Did you say that wasn't proper? Did you stand out on the track? You were quiet just like mice. Now you say that we're not nice. But if that's freedom's price, we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind. No, no, no. It isn't nice to block the doorway. It isn't nice to go to jail. There are nicer ways to do it, but the nice ways always fail. It isn't nice, it isn't nice. You told us once, you told us twice. Well, thank you, buddy, for your advice. But if that's freedom's price, we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind. No, 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 we don't mind.
We are in the midst of many seasons, including a hot summer and the back-to-school season. But the seasonality that most concerns me right now is the American political season. We are less than a month past the 4th of July, a 4th that was notably the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and a 4th that was also celebrated or endured in the midst of contemporary turmoil about what it means to be an American. What is this country about? The other side of this political season is the electoral one. Next Thursday is the election day for county offices and also serves as the primary election for state and national level offices that we'll be voting on in November. 4th of July behind us, 2 elections in front of us. In this very political season, what are some of the phrases that might define us, could define us, should define us as Americans? And do these phrases have any religious significance to us? The Declaration of Independence is a foundational document for this country, and the most quoted sentence from it is undoubtedly, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." There's a grandeur and idealism to this that towers above the subsequent list of gripes with royal rule from abroad. It is superb phrasing, written by imperfect men who didn't live up to their own ideals, as Heather Cox Richardson noted in the reading you heard earlier. A beauty of America is that such deficiencies can be spoken of and corrected. Frederick Douglass, in 1852, made clear the deficiencies in his address titled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" He said, "A day that reveals to him, more than all other days in the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted ability, your boasted liberty, an unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery." Frederick Douglass, having liberated himself from enslavement, had a little something to say about whether all men were treated as being created equal. 4 years earlier than that, women had gathered in Seneca Falls, New York, and issued a declaration of sentiments and resolutions, which noted, in passing, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal." Even as the first women's rights convention and Frederick Douglass could point to shortfalls and unreality in implementing the ideals enunciated in the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration could still inspire and guide many people. One of those people was a largely self-taught lawyer in Illinois, Abraham Lincoln. Even as Lincoln had a sense of how imperfectly the words of the Declaration of Independence were being carried out, he could hold them up as ideals. If you can think of Lincoln as a jazz musician, know that he often riffed on the Declaration. That's what he did in the ceremony dedicating the military ceremony in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. President Lincoln was not the main speaker at the ceremony. The main oration was delivered by Edward Everett, president of Harvard, widely regarded as the preeminent orator of the day. After Everett's 2-hour oration, Lincoln was mercifully brief, but elegantly riffed on the ideals of the Declaration, the proposition that all men are created equal. Lincoln closed with the hope that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that new birth of freedom would consist of government of the people, by the people, for the people. A clarification and specification of the hopes and ideals of the Declaration. There is an elegant and clear simplicity to that description of governance, of the people, by the people, for the people. That pulls the high ideals of 1776 down to day-to-day realities. This is why we should vote, so that we have governance by the people and a reasonable hope that it is truly for the people. Because we Americans incline toward optimism, we have once or twice in our lifetimes heard speakers assert that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used that image in his closing remarks at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March. President Barack Obama picked that up and used it on several occasions. This is a hopeful image, but we need to keep in mind that the arc of the moral universe only bends toward justice if we give it helpful and energetic nudges in that direction. I've been speaking of phrases that we can, hopefully, say define us as Americans. We do believe that all men and women are created equal. We work to make real government of the people, by the people, for the people. On a good day, we lean a bit on the arc of the moral universe so that it really does bend toward justice. But these days, there is also a different narrative being circulated about the basic values of this country, Vice President Vance has asserted that, quote, the only thing that has truly served as an anchor of the United States of America is that we have been, and by the grace of God, we always will be, a Christian nation. In his recent book, Communion, he wrote, Christianity is America's creed, the shared moral language from the Revolution to the Civil War and beyond. Vance can say this, but exclusively Christian language doesn't show up in places like the Constitution. What's the authority for the Constitution? Not the Bible, but we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. And there's the Treaty of Tripoli, ratified unanimously by the Senate in 1796. In Article 11 of that treaty, it says, the government of the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. Vance's words come across to me as Christian nationalism. It is not a Christianity that is inclusive and loving, but one that seems narrow, rigid, and selective. I'm amused that Vance, a recent convert to Catholicism, is critical of the current Pope's theology as too liberal and inclusive. And as I read the foundational documents in American history, the places I hear what I've suggested as possibly defining phrases, I don't encounter a narrow, rigid, selective religious vision. One has to wonder why that is. Let's take a look at who originated these phrases. The Declaration of Independence was drafted by a committee of 5 men. The lead was taken by John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. But Adams suggested that Jefferson create the basic draft, and that's what happened. There were edits, additions, and changes by the committee and then by the Continental Congress, but the document was basically written by Jefferson in conversation with Adams, and then tweaked by several dozen other people. Adams and Jefferson, each of whom identified as Unitarian, had an interesting relationship. Friends in 1776, they became political rivals who faced each other in 1800 in America's first truly nasty presidential campaign. A mutual friend, Benjamin Rush, a fellow signatory of the Declaration of Independence and a Universalist, invested years in trying to get Adams and Jefferson back on speaking terms. They eventually began a correspondence and became close once again. When John Adams died on July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, his final words. Thomas Jefferson survives. He did not know that Jefferson had died a few hours earlier on the very same day. The Gettysburg Address made famous the phrase about government of, by, and for the people. The phrase is Lincoln's, but the idea was not original with him. Lincoln almost certainly had encountered the idea in one or more sermons by the Unitarian minister Theodore Parker. Parker served a congregation in Boston, but printed sermons of his circulated widely around the country. And one of his avid fans was William Herndon, Lincoln's law partner. Parker, a transcendentalist, associate of Ralph Waldo Emerson's, was a powerful preacher and ardent abolitionist. His career began in a small suburban Boston congregation, but when supporters created a congregation so that Parker could be heard in downtown Boston, they didn't build a new church edifice. They simply rented Sunday morning use of the largest theater in Boston, and Parker often filled it. In one sermon, Parker defined democracy as, quote, a government of all, for all, and by all. In another, he said, by democracy, I mean government over all the people, by all the people, and for the sake of all. And if we look at that image of the arc of the moral universe, we once again encounter Theodore Parker, who preached, I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience, and from what I see, I am sure it bends toward justice. So, two Unitarian frenemies collaborated on the Declaration of Independence. So much for gestures. A Unitarian almost certainly planted the notion of government of, by, and for the people in Lincoln's mind. And that same Unitarian imagined the moral arc of the universe. Am I suggesting that we should embrace a Unitarian nationalism? No way. The American ideal has been shaped by many people of many different faith traditions. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition comes from many nations and embraces people without drawing lines at national borders. I believe that these interesting historical anecdotes and accidents that I've spoken of this morning are arguments for us to be defenders and advocates for the best in American history and practice. I believe that we are true to our religious heritage only as we live values reflected in these phrases. And this is a time to visibly and vigorously live those values. Here we are, poised between the 4th of July behind us and 2 election days before us, next Thursday and in November. Defend the inherent worth and dignity of every person and make it possible for everyone to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Make real the ideal of government of the people, by the people, for the people. Lean hard on the arc of the moral universe, encouraging and increasing its bend toward justice. And vote. Turn to number 1058 in the teal hymnal and take notice that the words we will be singing were written by Theodore Parker. Let the horizon of our minds include all people. Let the great family here on earth with us, those who have gone before and left to us the heritage of their memory and of their works, and those whose lives will be shaped by what we do or leave undone. Amen. Last act of worship is greeting one another with warmth and sincerity.